Just ahead of the Broncos clash, obviously two key forwards losses. Angus Crichton suspended and Joe Harris rested. How are you coping with the week and how are you looking forward to the clash?
Yeah, can't wait. It's been a couple of weeks coming there. He's sort of got a few different things that are busted at the moment. And we thought we could get him through last game, but he just couldn't quite sort of get out what he needed, sort of broken finger and back, busted and knee and stuff. So it was a long time coming, and then Angus is obviously disappointing there. But that doesn't change the focus. We get a debut for this weekend, which is exciting, and different guys get their opportunities to play. So, yeah.
You mentioned a few of Jared's injury issues, but he has been taking on quite a bit of leadership in the squad this year.
Yeah.
Is there any part of him that's kind of mentally drained as well and just needs that kind of game off just to kind of refresh for the finals?
No, it's not that at all. Not mentally. Just mentally, he's ready to go. He just, there's too many ailments at this time. He has taken a lot of minutes and a lot of games, and it's time. Just to take a breath for him, get some of those better, so we can get back to his best.
And so much has been made of the Roosters injury crisis, but let's take another spin on it. Just how impressed have you been on some of these young players coming through, and just how much depth the Roosters have going forward?
Yeah, there's some good experiences that we've had this year for different guys that probably traditionally would have played less time, but that still doesn't get away from the disappointment of not executing. We thought we could have been better last weekend. That's the thing, is you don't look at, then that's just the way it is, and move on. We've got 17 guys that can win games and play really good footy, and that was a bit of the disappointing thing last week. We just missed our mark. We hit some areas and then we really missed some that we really wanted to execute. So there's no difference. I said it after the game. You want to keep, there's a focus at the end of the year, but we want to play a style of footy that we love as well. And we did a bit of that, but there's some more to go.
Trent, considering all the injuries and everything you did play to invest, you're still, we're only 6 points away from the Panthers. Does it give you confidence that despite everything that's happened, you can still match it with those top teams and go right deep in the semi-finals?
Yeah, our belief's high in what we can do, but there's some sort of key areas where we're giving sort of head starts in, whether it's discipline or execution of our plays, some field position there. We match teams in that, and then we get the chance to show the wares of what we can do. But we just didn't do that last weekend, and that's a real focus for us on Friday. So that's why you get excited each week about. Everyone starts focusing on what's happening at the end of the year or the big clashes. Where in coaching and in a team, you get so excited about what's possible. Where can you get to this week? What improvement can you make from week to week? And what are these guys capable of? So that's why. Looking forward to Friday night.
Just on Angus, there's been a bit of chat for everyone. A few people feel it was a harsh suspension. What were your thoughts? And do you think that crusher tackles are... do you understand exactly what a crusher tackle is and what you will get suspended for if you found to have done one?
Well, I thought I did, and a lot of that was loading, but. From one end they'll put out an excuse that there was mitigating factors, therefore someone didn't get charged, and when there is mitigating factors on the other end, they'll say that was a traditional crusher. So, you just don't waste much time on it. We didn't waste much time on it. We've fought a lot of charges this year because we thought they've been wrong, and they have been wrong. And this one, there was pressure on Liam in that tackle, but we thought that he worked his way into that position, and we thought that they could see that, and they obviously couldn't, so we've just got to wear it and move on.
Are you concerned, Robbo, that it's round 22 or whatever it is, and this has sort of been a 2-year crackdown, we still haven't really worked out mitigating factors and all that? Like, if, Angus misses a couple of games now before the finals, but if that happens in the finals, that could make a massive difference to the team's season.
Yeah, I don't. It's so varied on where they're going to get to. They're more varied than they've ever been before. You know, they're more unsure of what a crackdown looks like and how they're going to. Our game is multiple people tackling, people are spinning and ducking their head to get to ground. These things are going to happen at different times, and we don't want them. We really want to, but we also understand what's going to happen in a game. And for someone to miss 3 games is, it's just incredible.
So do you put it down to inconsistencies, or do you put it down to sort of, like I said, they just don't know how to handle with the fact that, players, like so there's naturally contact, there's naturally tackles in our game, and players do back into contact sometimes, and that's what happened. Like, what do you put it down to?
To be honest, Scott, I haven't given it that much thought, because if you waste your time trying to work out what the match review committee are doing, then you're wasting your energy. You know, we've spent a lot of money and time to fight a lot of charges this year, and we've been successful in doing that. And therefore, you know, they're half of the time they've been wrong. So we've got to move on. You know, this isn't going to help going forward either, me saying this, but it's just, you just got to, this was not one that we were going to waste time on. It's really disappointing, but if there's pressure on the back of the neck and you've been charged, then you've got to move on. They've been really hard to fight.
Robbo, we've seen a couple of clubs take advantage of the loan system and bring players in, and like the Raiders are giving players minutes before the finals. Have you had a look at doing that?
No, well, we've got Dale Copley in, which has been a real benefit for us, having Dale here in the past and knowing us and knowing him personally. So that's been really good. And so instead of the loan system, where you can't use them for finals, we wanted to have the ability to use that player before August 1. And that's been great to have Cops walk back in and, you know, get to see him and his family, and we know him. So we've got straight back to the combinations that he was sort of one of the older guys when Joey Manu and those guys were coming through. So for us, we still want to develop from within, but we've been quite thin in that outside back spot, so that's why we went and got Copley.
Well, we're just on sort of the inconsistencies. You sort of spoke about professional fouls after last week's game. Ray Mansley came out yesterday and sort of said that, you know, sent a warning, I guess, to players about the amount of professional fouls that we're seeing late in the season, and said basically that it's up to the players to sort of mitigate those concerns instead of, you know, the match review committee getting them right. I just wanted to know what you sort of made of that attitude.
Oh, I think that was different. That was based on the foul play, I think, Sarah. Was that the...
Yeah, professional fouls, yeah. The foul play with JWH.
Well, I mean, I agree with... I said that to him. I agreed that JWH should have got sent to the bin. I don't have an issue with that. But there was one where they had two penalties in a row, and then they had a slow play the ball under the posts, which was 3 in a row, and that should have been sent to the bin. You know, he failed to mention that post-game. He didn't want to go there, but he wanted to talk about Jared. So that's, you know, I've talked to him about that, and I agree that Jared should have been sent to the bin. He should have moved. I did say that I think there was 3 on Saturday that got sent to the bin for the same thing. And that's normal around this time. So I've got no problem with Jared's. But when there's 2 deliberate penalties in a row, a hand on face, a knee in on the ball, and then a slow ruck, 3 rucks in a row within 8 minutes to go in the game, that was 10 minutes in the bin, and that was backed up by them, but Graham didn't mention that.
Just another one for you, Robbo, as well. I saw recently that the boys came out, Teddy and Boyd Cordner came out and were encouraging people in a video to get the jab, which was really good to see. I guess, was that sort of something the club organised, or did the boys want to come out and say it? And would you like to see other clubs sort of doing that as well? Yeah,
I think it's been a very topical, obviously, with vaccination and the need for vaccination. So that came from the board. Nick Politis and the board wanted that from the club, and the players were happy to do that. I think we're in a bit of a critical time there. We understand that people have their choice on vaccination, and if people don't agree with it, then that's fine. They have the choice not to. But if you are going to get vaccinated, then let's head towards that quickly, so the world can change for us. So yeah, I don't think it was us. I know they copped a little bit of criticism for it, depending on which side of the fence you are on vaccination or any vaccination. But they're saying if you're going to get vaccinated, let's work towards getting it done so we can get back to some normality at some point.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hey, Robbo.
Hey, Dan.
Keep jumping around on you, mate. You
All
mentioned Dale Hopley coming back in as someone you know.
Yep.
In a similar boat, you've been linked to Connor Watson as well. Is there interest there?
Yeah, there's been discussions there with Connor, but that's as far as I'll say. There's been, I've known him and known him as a player, but I've talked to him, but I've also tried to help him as well at other places because I've known him as well.
What is it in terms of working out your future like that? Just because I think Connor's been doing a bit of that stuff off his own bat. Is that what you've been potentially helping with?
Yeah, we talked to him about two things, whether there was an opening at the Roosters, but then also what have been the best options for him. I've still kept in contact with Connor for the last 4 years, 18, 19, 20, 21, since he's been away, and I'm always there for him and other players if they need some advice as well.
Thanks, mate. And just, again, jumping around because we can.
Yep.
The young fella that comes in,
Nafahu White.
Nafahu, yeah.
Yep.
Tell us a little about him.
Nafahu, he's came over from Auckland. He's been with us for a couple of years. Very principled kid. Was high up in his school. Leadership. Back rower. He's played centres. He's played back row. He's played in the middle. And yeah, he's a physical being. Got good footwork. And yeah, he's got a future at the Roosters. So he's been tough to handle for our guys at training. It's been good to watch. So it was time to get him out there.
Good to hear, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Hey, Robbo, Dave, Ricky, mate, do you get anyone back next week?
Jazz, I'll get back next week. I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's only Jazz. I won't see, obviously, J Moz or obviously Billy and Joey are out. No, and Matty Ikavalu and J Moz are out for a while there. So no,
Yep.
That's it.
Cool. Well,
Yes, Trent.
Well, if they go on Broncos, mate, obviously they did a job on you earlier in the year, sort of probably one of the more un-Roosters-like games I guess we've seen. Have you, I know they're missing a few guys from that game, no Matt Lodge anymore, no Tavita, but just the way they sort of handled Sam and they put pressure on Sam, have you looked much at that and sort of how you guys respond and try and counteract and stop that?
Yeah, definitely. I think we obviously had 2 sin bins in that game. That was a crackdown and we didn't handle that well. And then there was some targeting there, which is going to happen every week until we do something about it. So that's good. That's where the traffic's going and where they're headed, and therefore we're in control of nullifying that, and that's up to us, and we're going to keep working towards that.
When you say targeting, do you mean towards your halfback or towards that? Is that
Yeah. Yeah, towards Sammy. We know, they obviously did it with Kickout last week, and the game that Scott's talking about is with Tavita last time. A lot of teams are angling plays around there, and that's cool. That's our game. That's a good part of our game, and we need to be better at it. We want to improve that, and that's a part of learning for Sammy and for ourselves. So, it's great.
How do you prepare him for something like that? Like when he's coming in week in, week out and everything?
Yeah, it's just continual, both mental and physical. Understanding, signing on for it, getting mentally prepared for it, and then it's about physically training, constant training.
If I could ask one more as well, there was an article in the paper this morning detailing a lopsided penalty count against the Roosters over the past 8 years or so. Luke Ricketson said it was bias from referees, but my question is it bias or is it perhaps ill discipline from the Roosters?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the smiles on the other side of the camera. Yeah, it's a really interesting one. I've asked the same question. I've asked what we need to do differently, and and that hasn't come back the other way. So it's not something that I can't go back and change anything. I've asked about what we need to do going forward, and that's all I can focus on. I can't focus on the extremity of those counts that I saw. Does it really matter? Is anybody going to say that there was an issue? Are we going to find an answer to that other than just say we just got to move on? We've been living with this for a long time, so we've got to find a way to obviously improve our discipline, and it would be helpful if there was some areas that should be looked at. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, you can't sit and complain, and you've just got to get on with it. You have to just keep playing and keep. You create your wins no matter what.
Hey Trent, Ray from the Roosters. Hope you're doing well.
Hey Dre.
So we're in the league round this week, and the club's decided to highlight the contributions of Corbin Baxter. Can you divulge a little bit into her contributions at the club, both on and off the field?
Yeah, Corbs is, firstly, a mother and a now a new, wife, and she's a high quality sportswoman who's carving her future both on and off the field, and she works really hard at it. And it's the ultimate mix between sort of captaining her state and club, and then also being a great mum, but also trying to forge ahead in different parts of the NRL. So it's great. Loved having Corbs around, and we can't have her around at the moment, obviously being up here. But she's made an impact on us on the field for the women's and off the field with the NRL team.
And she also mentioned in the story that we put out that there was a really strong female presence at the club. I guess, in your opinion, why is it so imperative to have that in such a male-dominated industry?
Because we're 50-50 and women can do what they want, and this is a game of men and women, and we're heading towards that. Females are so important in our environment, and we say that as if it's an added extra, but they're, the energy of females is vital to the way that we live. So therefore, separating it from our work is madness. They're so important in our environment, at work, at home, and so don't separate it just because rugby league is seen as a male sport. That doesn't count. Anybody can play rugby league, anybody can coach it, anybody can administer it, and we've done amazing work in that in the last decade. So let's head towards not having a round, and let's just have equality.
You speak, I guess, of the round this week. Fans are back this weekend. The boys must be pretty excited for that.
Yeah, we get the family bus gets to go down to the game, which is great. Yeah, looking forward to having fans back out there, and Queensland did a good job on jumping on top of the cases quite quickly and then being able to open up. So I know that the games have moved around. I think there's some Central Coast towns full, Sunshine Coast, Sunshine Coast, Suncorp where we're at, Seabus, so it's great, Redcliffe. So it's great for the fans to get back out this weekend.
And the final one from me, you spoke last week about the possibility of Angus Crichton giving you a haircut. How did you think of his performance?
Mate, I still haven't had one. It's just well coiffed today. That's all it is.
Yeah, the boys seem to be a big fan of it though. They mentioned it in media this week.
What, Angus's hair cutting skills?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's moved from a barber to a hairdresser. I think that's his progression. So he's been very helpful.
Awesome, great to hear. Thanks.
Just for the record, Robbo, could you define the word coif for us?
Coiffeur, which is comes from the French word of haircut. To coiffe is to have a great cut. There we go.